What's going on with interest rates? Find out on this week's episode of Real Talk. Today we have the wonderful Alex Trahiotis. Alex, you've worked alongside our team as a mortgage broker for many, many years. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Peter.
We want to talk with you about interest rates and how they've affected the market, where they're at right now, where we think they're going. So let's get into it. First of all, if you're going to buy in the next few weeks or month, what would you expect to pay in terms of interest rates?
Well, the 5 major banks are as high as 4.69. We do have some lenders that are as low as 3.99 for a 5-year fixed. We are looking at a 2.65 for a closed variable, but everything is fluctuating. So those are the rates today, Peter.
Those are the rates today. And if you were to buy, let's say, last year around the same time, what approximately would you be paying? Because obviously it was much less than right now.
They were much lower. 1.59 was a 5-year fixed rate back a year ago. Wow.
And how are you seeing this affect people when they're going to do their approval, or is it affecting approvals?
It isn't affecting their approvals, Peter, because the stress test rate is at 5.25. So 5.25 is what we qualify you at, no matter what the interest rate is that you will be receiving. So it's not affecting their pre-approvals. They've already been approved or pre-approved at the 5.25 stress test rate.
And as people are paying these big purchase price still, even though things have kind of slowed down a little bit in terms of the average price climbing up, are you seeing any issues with people getting their appraisals lining up with their purchase price?
At this time, they are lining up with their purchase price. I'm not sure if that's going to change moving forward, but we are still good with appraisals at this time.
That's great news, because once you start seeing those appraisals follow the purchase price, that means big trouble. But the market is still in a very good state in the sense that those appraisals are lining up with the purchase price, and homes are still selling, and we're seeing listings go to market. People that are gearing up to make a move, what would be your advice to them in terms of getting an approval or sorting out their financing to kind of prepare before that next move?
Well, I'd always suggest to get a pre-approval. I think that's very important. Let's take a look at their financial situation. Perhaps a refinance might be a good situation as well, just to get their, their equity out of their home, or perhaps to pay off high interest credit cards. I think the best option is also equity out of your home. If you're looking at buying something, it's a good idea to take some of that equity out of your home to purchase your new property.
Okay, so we've talked about where interest rates are today. Are we at the ceiling, or where do we think it's going in the near future or the future?
Well, I think at this point, they are still talking about interest rates rising, but I'm hoping they're not going to go too high, but we will have to see how that works out, Peter. But I think at this point, based on the stress test rate, we are still great for pre-approvals.
And then still relatively, if you look over the last 20 years, you're not way out of the sky in terms of looking at it on a graph when you're talking about the high 4 percentage points. If you look 20 years ago, maybe it was in 5% range.
Yes,
at the highest.
I do remember 20 years ago, the highest that I've seen was at 5.75. So that's the highest I've seen for the last, in the highest range in the last 20 years. So we're still not there yet.
Yeah, in my mind, on a relative scale, it's not that bad.
No, I don't think it's that bad.
It's actually still pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, that about does it. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it.